What's up, weirdo? Shade Tree Surgeon here, and I got incredibly drunk last night. And now I'm in Reno, Nevada, and I don't know where my motorcycle is. And if this is the first video you're ever watching, you know this is odd because I'm not from Nevada. I'm from Tampa. I've now had the Uber drop me off at the third location of me trying to find the bike, and still no luck. Somewhere out there in my drunken stupor, I did the right thing and I left a very nice Moto Guzzi sitting out there somewhere. It's a Moto Guzzi V85. The town ain't that big. I'm just slowly combing through the very tangled and sad story of all my credit card receipts at all the different bars I went to last night, and hoping that that motorcycle I rented will be at one of them. Success. Let me tell you something about Reno. There are 3 different bars named Pinion here. You know how I know there's 3 different bars named Pinion? I only drank at one of them, but I visited every single one in an Uber today trying to find this motorcycle. The day that literally dozens of people have been waiting for. I'm finally gonna ride a Moto Guzzi, the Italian Harley Davidson. I always call Ducati the Italian Harley Davidson, but I guess that when you look at this transversely mounted V-twin just sticking out the sides of that motor like that, or sides of the bike like that, this really fits the bill a lot more than that. And this is their ADV bike, and I will tell you right now, this is one butt ugly motorcycle, but I like it. Around here, when something's in the love it or hate it category, I usually end up loving it. Feels just like a BMW on startup with that side-to-side shake, although, yep, leans right over when you rev it. I had to stop and get these mechanics gloves, and I'm already missing my Odins with the fingertips that come off so I can use my phone. Ooh. That intake makes a cool sound. It's obviously got stock exhaust on it, but I love a good intake roar. First impressions of the Moto Guzzi V85. This is an incredibly inoffensive motorcycle. I guess it's kind of weirded me out because you look at it and it looks so wild. It just looks so off the wall, and it's definitely going to be a love it or hate it thing, but I love it. I like a crazy looking motorcycle. Something that looks this wild, you just feel like it should ride a little wilder than it does. Of course, I put all of about 5 miles on the thing. I wish I could tell you a little bit more about Reno, but last night is definitely a haze of casinos, lots and lots of beer, liquor, a bunch of different bars, crazy liminal spaces in the casinos. Reno's definitely not like Vegas, because I was in the casino wandering around lost. I'm saying at the Silver Lake or Silver Nugget, silver something, I don't know what it is. It's really pretty, like just everything's just brass and it's got really cool wallpaper. Just looks like something out of the 1970s, but I'll tell you what, man, it's not like Vegas, because I was wandering around that thing at 4 o'clock in the morning and it was deserted. There was definitely people gambling, but there are just so many hallways that are I'm just looking around going like, there's nobody here. What's happening? And it's just this cavernous maze of bizarre features and beautiful architecture and all these things with not a single soul in it. Very strange, because my experiences in Las Vegas casinos were, it was crowded pretty much 24 hours a day. This is my first time in Reno, and I will tell you, it seems like kind of an odd place. So I guess this odd motorcycle, this weird Moto Guzzi, like, why does this motorcycle exist? Why does Moto Guzzi exist? I know there's the guys who love them, absolutely love them, but I just kind of look at the bike, I'm like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? This is a weird bike. Weird bike for a weird place. I can dig it though. We like weird around here. And I've always kind of dug the way Moto Guzzis look, just because just that engine just hanging out there just looks like it looks so ballsy, like a big American V8. Well, Italian, I guess. But just sticking out the sides like that. It looks very, very cool. Again though, it looks so ballsy and so crazy, and then you twist the throttle and it's kind of like, well, this feels kind of like riding a V-Strom. Right outside of Reno is Lake Tahoe, and there's a big loop that goes all around Lake Tahoe, and it's something that when I looked online, I went like, what are the cool motorcycle rides around Reno? That's what everybody said. You got to do the Lake Tahoe loop. So let's get the hell out of town while the weather's still nice and cool. Boy, it don't take long to get outside of Reno. One thing I've learned about spending some time in Nevada and here out west is it don't take long to just get the hell out of civilization. If you want to live in a place where you can go from all your creature comforts, a grocery store, bars, your nice little house and AC, and 15 minutes later be somewhere where you could very easily die from exposure. Then the West is for you. It's very much like that. It's so dry, and it's just such the desert out here. I don't know where they're hiding the lake up there. Like, I assume it's up there somewhere in those mountains, right? I don't know. Is there more mountains on the other side of those? Is that big enough to have a lake on top of it? I have no idea. But it's very rare when I see some mountains in the distance, or as all my Europeans will call them, the hills in the distance. And very rare I see that and not immediately want to know what's on the other side. Well, let's find out. So the town I'm heading to right outside of Lake Tahoe is a ski resort. So obviously there must be snow there during the winter. I failed geometry in high school, so I really don't know that much about mountains. But is that tall enough for snow to be on top? It just doesn't look like it. Freaking crazy. Haven't even started climbing yet, and it's immediately gone from nothing but scrub brush to whatever these trees are. Pine trees? Are these redwoods? I don't ever know, man. It just goes from straight desert to forest. It's like there's a line drawn in the sand or something. And it don't take long to get up pretty high, man. I feel like I've just been on this road for like a mile. I can already just like overlook the entirety of Reno back there. This makes me so happy for programs like Rideshare and Twisted Road, and I'm not sponsored by them. I paid to rent this bike. They don't give me anything to talk about them, but the fact that I'm flying into Reno to visit a friend, and the fact that I can just go, you know what? I'm going to be in Reno. I want to ride around Lake Tahoe. The fact that I can just get online and say, you know what? I want to rent this Moto Guzzi for literally like $60 a day. It was so cheap to rent this motorcycle. This is what really freaks me out, especially about mountains out here in Nevada and Arizona and stuff like that. They look so boring from far away. They just look like these big brown lumps in the sand. They just look like lumpy gravy out here, and they don't look like much, and they don't look like they have anything interesting on them until you get up close to them. And then first off, they're all different, and they're so beautiful and so cool, and I'm sure everyone out here already knows that. But for me, when you fly over them and you look at it, you're like, it just looks all the same. It doesn't look exciting at all. But trust me, get a little closer and it looks like this. So you can even see it out there. You look at those foothills, mountains, whatever you want to call them out there in the distance. They don't look exciting. But I have yet to be disappointed by all the mountains especially Nevada, just because I've spent more time in Nevada than I have in places like Arizona and New Mexico. The Moto Guzzi handles great. It's got all the right parts on it. It's got just like really nice suspension. It's got big Brembo brakes. It's got the whole deal, all the stuff that you expect to find on a world-class European adventure bike, and now an American adventure bike too, by the way, with the Harley-Davidson Pan America. But it just, I hate to say this because it sounds like an insult when I'm just saying the motorcycle just feels like a small CC Japanese bike. These big Euro bikes, man, especially the ADV bikes, it feels like they rip so hard. They're just so freaking rowdy. Like just the KTMs, the BMW 1250s, the Multistrada, and shoot, the Pan America too. These bikes just are ripped, snorting freaking rockets. And like I said before, this feels a lot like riding a V-Strom. That's not a bad thing because I think it looks a whole hell of a lot cooler than a V-Strom. That's not an insult. I'm just being honest here. But I wouldn't care if it was a freaking Trail 125 or what it was, because being able to be on two wheels out here in the mountains when I flew in, that's amazing. I'd be having fun out here on an old Rebel 250. I don't care what it is. If it's got two wheels and a motor, I like bike, all right? And I do like this bike, and I'm having an amazing time. I guess it's not what I expected. I'm just so used to Euro ADV bikes just being like out of control. Well, I can definitely tell we're climbing too. Things are getting a bit nipply out here because all I'm wearing is my jean vest and a shirt with pink flamingos on it. Listen to me down there going, I don't think those mountains are tall enough for it to snow. Meanwhile, I'm up here in August and I'm shivering. Yeah, I'd say they're probably tall enough. Wow. Well, I guess that's where they're hiding the lake up here. Wonder I'm getting chilly. Freaking at 8,000 feet right now. Well, I put in my destination as this little ski resort up here because that's like the starting point for the loop around Lake Tahoe, and there's a brewery called the Alibi there. Being at 8,000 feet, if I have a couple beers, I might be in the same shape I was in last night. Ooh, that looked like my spot. I was hoping for like a good view of Lake Tahoe. I'm gonna have to circle back and get a picture there. Ooh, guys, it looks like a long walk. Intake sounds great. I love that roar, but the bike just doesn't do a lot when you twist the throttle wide open, especially here at 8,000 feet and going uphill. But I don't know, man. I just expected a little more moxie from this thing. Not saying it doesn't have plenty of power. I think part of it is also just that, gosh, man, we are just spoiled with motorcycles that make crazy horsepower anymore, aren't we? Let's get a look at this. Wow. This is rich dickhead heaven out here. It's just like golf courses down there, skiing this big old lake. Damn, dude. You know what this looks like down here? That looks like a ton of money. It looks like the kind of place where you got people who own the houses and the people who work for the people who own the houses. And nobody in between. All right. That's enough gawking at the lake. It's time for a beer, baby. Okay, I realize I'm taking some chances here because it's 10:40 in the morning, and I don't know if a brewery is going to be open for me to get a beer at, before 11 a.m. So this is a vacation town, though, and just like, I assume these are probably all cabins here for rent, and I think, dude, if you can't get a beer when you're on vacation at 10:30 in the morning, then you don't deserve to call yourself being on vacation. I should probably clarify that, too. 10:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. But still, come on, baby, we're on vacation time. It's like so many mountain towns I've been to where it's really hard to tell that there's a town there because there's so many trees because you can't really see anything. It's just houses and cabins poking out through the trees. I guess it's just from living in Florida because pretty much any town in Florida, once you get up on the interstate, you can pretty much see the whole town, even if it's big. All right, Alibi Ale Works. Let's see if they got the elusive pre-11 a.m. beer here. They have motorcycle parking. The door is open. Both good signs. Well, that didn't go as planned. Apparently, they don't believe in the pre-11 beer. They don't open till freaking noon. And in fact, almost every place around here doesn't open till 11 on the weekdays. Maybe I'm just used to beach time, instead of mountain time. Because in Florida, all the vacation towns on the beaches, like, all the bars open at, like, 7 a.m. People want to start getting drunk as early as possible. Hell, man, you go to other places, they're open 24 hours, man. You might want a daiquiri at 4:30, 5:30 in the morning as soon as you wake up. Maybe the whole mountain party scene's just a little bit different. Ooh, I smell something good. If I can't find a brewery or like a cool restaurant that serves beer, the next best option is usually always a deli that also does catering. Like if you're ever looking for a place to eat, usually, I don't know anything about it, but usually places that do catering and have a small dining room, their food's always on point. Well, Sunshine Deli unfortunately gets It'll Make a Turd. I was just sitting there talking about, just try out a deli that also does catering. Their food's always good. Well, it wasn't. I mean, it was certainly passable, but I don't know, man. I got the chorizo Benedict. Actually, the chorizo and the chorizo Benedict was really good, but the hollandaise was fine, I guess. But, when you get eggs Benedict and you're supposed to get the big reveal when you cut into the soft-boiled egg, the poached egg, and those weren't poached eggs. Those were just eggs that had been boiled till the yolk was solid without a shell on them. So I was kind of like, okay, man, whatever you guys say. And so far, my experience with the Moto Guzzi has been what we'll describe as tepid. It wants salt. It wants hot sauce. It wants something else. And maybe it's just an incredible off-road machine. I don't know. Somehow I doubt it. I never freaking look how to switch to anything, but I don't even know if it has different ride modes to go to an off-road mode or something like that. At the end of the day, most ADV bikes are pretenders anyway, and I don't know, but I would venture to guess that Moto Guzzi falls right in line with the Pretenders more than it does with, you know, like the KTM 1190 or 790 or whatever it is they make. That's really actually great off-road. I don't mind the Pretend though, because I think it looks amazing. You know, it reminds me of the Multistrada a lot with all the powder-coated red, you know, kind of trellis work over it and stuff like that. And I think the bike looks phenomenal, and people keep coming up and asking about it. It is just an amazing looking motorcycle, or ugly as sin, depending on who you ask. But as I said, it gets attention. I've been asked like 6 times about this bike. Every time I stop, somebody's asking questions about it. Oh man, dude, with this freaking weather like this, can you imagine being out on that lake right now? Oh, everyone's out there on rafts, like wakeboarding, fishing, having fun. Damn, that looks like a freaking blast. The Tahoe Biltmore. Dude, this looks awesome. Okay, they do have a casino here. I was wondering about that. I didn't know if just all these skiers, Buffy and Bunny and Chad, would just think a casino is just much too gauche to have in their little ski resort town. But it's Nevada, man. They got a place to gamble. Oh, well, I was in Nevada. Now I'm in California. Hey, imagine that. Yeah, no wonder they got a casino there. That is literally right on the border. I imagine there ain't a border in between California and Nevada that doesn't have a casino right on the other side of the state line. Now I'm in Kings Beach, California. This one's definitely more touristy. They got a freaking mini golf up here. Well, it's been forever since I got drunk enough to get kicked out of a mini golf. We're gonna have to rectify that. And a tattoo shop? Wow, okay. This place seems way more my speed. Tattoo shop and the log cabin Taco Bell. I kind of want to go inside there just to see what the inside looks like. Oh, hell yeah. I love seeing that. About as close as to a motorcycle as you can get. Drop top air-cooled Porsche. Cruising out in the mountains. I love it, my man. I win the lottery. I'm not going to tell anybody, but there will be signs. And that sign will be me owning an air-cooled Porsche. Dang, dude, look at those boats just hanging out there. Jet skis just like covered and hanging in the water. I don't know, maybe that's something you can do in freshwater. I don't know. I wouldn't do that in Florida. I guess they don't have to worry about barnacles out here like we do down in Florida. Or I don't know, is there barnacles in freshwater? Oh, beats me. The way they have their boats moored out here is just bizarre to me. Everywhere in Florida it has docks. Okay, there's regular docks down there where you walk to your boat, but the other ones are just kind of, you would have to take a small boat out to your boat, or even out to your jet skis that are just kind of hanging out there. Dang, look at that guy. That's a cool little dirt tracker looking thing right there. A Harley Davidson on a freaking trailer hitch mount. You don't see that all the time. On a freaking Ford Escape. Let's see if we can find this brewery. They make it pretty hard because maybe it's the town or something makes the buildings all the same, but these buildings all look identical. Like, how are you supposed to tell what's what? Like, they all look like these kind of fake log cabin looking things. Oh, wrong again, Josh. It's like, dude, stop making everything look like a log cabin and put up some damn signs. What's the matter with you? I suppose the oddest thing for me about all of this is just seeing like this expanse of water, but being able to see the other side. It just makes me feel like I'm in a giant coffee cup or something. It's just weird being like, okay, this is water and I'm used to seeing water. I live in Tampa, but anytime there's a body of water this large, you don't see the other side, it just goes off into the horizon. And definitely in this bowl of mountains and trees over here, it's odd, but definitely very neat too. Kind of a neat feeling. Well, the reason I couldn't find Three Sheets Brewing is because it's inside Moe's Barbecue. I'll tell you, I'm doing nothing but striking out today. Went to the diner, tried to get some Eggs Benedict, and it was just like hard-boiled eggs on some biscuits. Went here to get a beer and got a Kolsch. It was hoppier than an IPA and flat as a pancake. I don't really want to judge Three Sheets too hard because it was just one beer. It could have been on the line for a while, and you can't judge a brewery by one beer. Wish I'd eaten here though. The menu at Moe's Barbecue looked really good. So far, my Lake Tahoe experience, well, the roads are amazing and gorgeous. Everything else kind of sucks. We're gonna give Lake Tahoe breweries one more chance. I saw a road I really wanted to take. Usually any road that follows a river, those roads are usually really cool. So I found one that I wanted to take earlier, and it just so happens there's another brewery at the end of it. So we'll give them one more chance. But so far, the Lake Tahoe area, I mean, I am just kind of shooting in the dark here. I haven't done any research. I'm just grabbing whatever falls into my path. But so far, not impressed. The bike does handle great. I don't know who makes the suspension, but I don't know, even with my fat ass on it, it feels awesome. As usual, whenever a road runs next to a river, it's always pretty gorgeous, and this is no exception so far. Oh, the house is on the river though. My God. Damn. Imagine having your own little moat like that. You gotta ride across the river to get to your house. It's so freaking cool. Oh, this has got to be huge with bicyclists. It looks like they have a trail that goes all along the river. That is really cool. How close can I get to the river here without dumping this Moto Guzzi into it? I don't think any of those paths are going to be a good idea. Not on a rented bike. Very tempting, though. You know, I might not be able to take the bike down here. It looks like a pretty bad idea. In fact, my freaking Dad Force 1s are probably a bad idea, but at least I can come down here and check out the river. Actually, I mean, I could probably get the Guzzi down this without a problem, depending on whether it has ABS or not. Something tells me that motorcycles are probably frowned upon down here, even if it wasn't a rental, and I'll probably get in a lot of trouble, which you'd be like, oh, just don't tell the guy who took it off-road, and if you don't wreck it, no big deal, right? Well, except the whole thing's going on YouTube. That'd be all I need is for some freaking tree-hugging bicyclist to come down this path and just like call the fucking tree police on me, get me in trouble out here, and then get my ass stuck probably. All I really want is a cool picture, man. You know, even if I'm not gonna risk a motorcycle, I'm so glad I came down here. This is freaking gorgeous. Although, as per usual, here at like 8,000 feet, I'm out of breath. Well, me and the Dad Force 1s survived the exploratory expedition. After that, now I'm thirsty. I really hope this beer doesn't suck. Although, with my previous experiences, I'm not holding out a whole bunch of hope. You know what? I don't know. The Guzzi's got a beat. I can dance to it. It's not like crazy slow. I guess maybe just, like I said before, I was expecting more, so that kind of just, I was expecting it to behave like a R1250 or like my Ducati Multistrada, and it's not. It's a 850cc bike. It's not a big honking, screaming 1200. It looks so bodacious. I thought it was going to be faster, but I'm going to have to go ahead and retract my previous statement. I don't think it's slow. It's definitely not the fastest bike in the world, but it's not like slow. I really don't have anything to compare it to. Just the motor doesn't seem that exciting, but I have never ridden an F800, so I don't even know what an F800 is like to ride. It might just feel exactly the same way. I guess I just expect more out of a V-twin. Maybe not more performance. I just want it to be a little rowdier, you know what I mean? Oh, never mind. This is private property. There was like this cool old wood bridge over there. Just want to go see if I can get a picture on it. Looked like I went on a real adventure, you know? Oh, well, damn it. Can't go get a cool picture on the wood bridge. It's somebody's house. It's a really cool bridge you have there. Dang, I want to like just go over there and like back my bike up and get a picture. Dude, they got like don't come in here signs all over the place though. Yeah, I'm not going to do that to them. Trust me, old shade tree surgeon likes to mess around and don't really spend too much time worrying about the law, you know, go out of my way to break it. I just don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. But when it comes to respecting somebody else's private property, I usually try to be respectful, mostly because right now my body has almost the proper number of holes in it. I got a couple extras, but I definitely don't want to be perforated anymore. So a great way to avoid that happening is stay off of people's private property. Dude, I want a picture on a bridge though. There was another one back there that looked like maybe it was a communal bridge because there's a bunch of houses back there. Maybe I can get away with a picture on that one. Oh my gosh, nothing but no trespassing signs. All right, maybe we can get a really quick picture. Okay. I got my cool pictures. Let's roll before somebody shoots me. 3 strikes and you're out, Lake Tahoe. Guess what? The brewery wasn't open, and I'm heading back to Reno. I've had about enough of this. The roads were beautiful, the scenery was gorgeous, but 3 times in a row, 3 strikes and you're out. That's I gotta go ahead and call it on the Lake Tahoe experience. What in the hell is that? Someone's gonna have to tell me. Is that a fake mountain? Did they start digging down? They found out it's hollow underneath? What in the hell is going on there? Well, I'll tell you, one place that didn't disappoint is the views. Might have struck out on the food and the beer, but the riding and the views, top notch. Just insane to me to think that I'm literally 25 miles away from the desert in Reno right now. I'm looking at this. Dude, Mother Earth really is just an absolutely insane place. This looks like, if I was going to take it off-road, this looks like absolutely the perfect place to take a bike like this off-road, where it's basically just access roads, probably for the railroad and for fire control and everything like that. But they're usually gravel. It's like a lot of the stuff I took the ADV Sportster on. This is exactly the territory that an adventure bike shines. And the reason it shines in territory like this, I can actually see a 2-lane dirt road over there. The reason it shines in an area like this is because you can pretty much do it on a stock bike. That's why they do well and stuff like that. Oh, that's so cool. That old wood bridge down there. Dude, this whole area is freaking awesome. I want to know how to get over there. I wonder if it might be a railroad access road. If it is, they probably don't want anybody else on it. Dude, all this looks so freaking cool. Come on, there's gotta be a way to get out there on those trails. As I was saying before, I don't like messing around with private property, but, you know, the railroad's a big company. I wouldn't mind trespassing on their land. Dude, this highway through here is almost as good as the back roads. This is amazing. I will tell you, the Moto Guzzi is perfectly fine on the highway. Like, it feels fine. I don't think there's cruise control or anything like that, but I've never really been worried about cruise control. I'll just throw a throttle lock on something. It doesn't bother me, but I know a lot of other people freak out when a motorcycle doesn't have cruise control, especially one that's made for traveling like this one is. And just like that, I am back in Nevada, baby.
You have been weighed, you have been measured, and you have been found wanting.
So I just wanted to go ahead and wrap this up with my final thoughts on the Moto Guzzi. This isn't really a real review, it's more just seat of my pants kind of feeling about the motorcycle, what I think about it, and how it made me feel. I don't really think I spent enough time with the thing to give it a proper, what I would call, review. I think what kept throwing me off about the Guzzi was a combination of outward appearances and preconceived notions. I went into this experience completely blind. I know nothing about the V85 besides the fact that it existed. I had been mildly interested in it, mainly because of its outlandish styling and kind of that uncanny valley effect seeing a transversely mounted V-twin in an ADV bike has on me. Guzzi is far from the only Euro company to slap their heritage engine, normally reserved for modern classics, cafes, and cruisers, into an ADV platform. Triumph with their parallel twin in the Scrambler series, Ducati with the Desmodronic L twin in the Multistrada and the Scramblers, and of course the reigning Starbucks Mountain champions, the BMW and their opposed twin GS. Now, I've spent time riding and, in one case, own every single bike I just listed, and they've all got one thing in common. They're all their respective companies' flagship motorcycles. The most technology, the best parts, but with a power plant that's been kind of handicapped by tradition. Twin-cylinder engines have proven again and again to be less reliable, less efficient, and make way less power than their multi-cylinder counterparts. So why do all these companies offer the best of the best parts, tech, and engineering with a motor that fights with one hand behind its back? Because for a lot of us, it's all about the motor. It's a motorcycle after all, and in my opinion, the greatest motors are always more than the sum of their parts. When I rip a big old power wheelie on a Scrambler 1200, I feel like Steve McQueen. When I see the giant cylinders hanging out the side of a BMW GS, I just see it in my mind flying through the dunes in the Paris-Dakar, and when I hear that raucous symphony of a Desmo valve train and the bark of an L-twin exhaust, I feel like I'm privy to a secret that others just scratch their heads at. Of course, all these companies also offer the exact same high-tech frame, suspension, and electronics, outfitted with different engines that are unfettered by tradition. The BMW XR, the Triumph Tiger series, and the new Duck V4 all have, on paper, wildly better engines than their traditionally configured twin-cylinder counterparts. But for me, nothing can replace the soul that a twin-cylinder engine possesses. And seeing how many bikes these companies sell with quote-unquote inferior engine designs, I'm obviously not alone. That brings us to the Moto Guzzi, which, on paper, ticks all the boxes of a motorcycle that would be more than the sum of its parts. A bike that would defy the spec sheet and make you feel something that cannot be weighed and measured. Unfortunately, I found the Moto Guzzi V85 to be exactly the sum of its parts. Whatever dash of magic all the other bikes mentioned have that gives them an almost anthropomorphic personality, in my opinion, it was glaringly missing from the Moto Guzzi. It's certainly a fine product, but it just felt generic to me, like an off-brand cereal. The styling, while very bold at first glance, a harder look, to me, it starts looking like a hastily copied mishmash of a Ducati and a Triumph Tiger. The handlebar switches are flimsy and feel cheap, like they'd be more at home on a kitchen appliance than a motorcycle. The TFT dash is small, busy, and hard to read. It only feels included because if it wasn't, all the moto journalists out there would be sure to point out that all the other ADV bikes had an TFT dash and the V85 didn't. Personally, I'd much prefer some very well done dial gauges over a cheap TFT. And of course, the air-cooled V-twin that should absolutely be the star of the show, but after the small delights of that torsional twist on startup, that's blander than oatmeal. I wanted to love the engine more, but twisting the throttle, it felt like that engine would be more at home driving a water pump or driving a generator in some sort of industrial setting rather than making me feel alive on the open road. I found the seat to be quite beautiful, and the brakes and suspension and shifting all felt top-notch. Like a meal that doesn't taste like anything except the ingredients that are in it, it was all there, but for me, it was still missing something almost indescribable. If the Royal Enfield Himalayan is the Walmart Great Value ADV bike, then you get the Moto Guzzi V85 from Target. It's like a song written by record executives, a piece of art painted by a computer. It feels like a motorcycle built by market researchers and focus groups, manufactured heritage and synthetic soul. I wish I could tell you what it was that's missing from the V85, but to be totally honest, I'm not even sure myself. And this, of course, is just my opinion. And it's still a great bike. It'll turn heads. People will ask questions about it everywhere you go. It's different enough that it is a very head-turning motorcycle. It looks great and people love it. And I really hope that Moto Guzzi sticks around. I'd like to see him take a few chances, hazard some risks, and make an engine that feels as wild as it is to ride as it is to look at. And if you own one of these Moto Guzzis and you hate me now, I'm sorry, but these are just my honest thoughts on the bike after spending 3 days on it. I can't really give it a real review or a real rating because I didn't have enough time to spend on it. I don't really give real reviews until I spent several thousand miles on a motorcycle, but this is how the Moto Guzzi V85 made me feel after a few days. That's gonna about do it for this one, y'all. Till next time, keep it weird.